Welcome, Billy Bones. Segment 4, and here's where things start branching. So the big question is whether or not we get Jessica. It is possible to take Hero and Yangus, level them up, kill the Great Argon Lizard. As soon as you kill the lizard and you do the lizard quest, what happens at that point, NPCs spawn around the world in different areas, and one of the places where they spawn is going to be in Pickham. So what we could do is use just Hero and Yangus to take out the Great Argon Lizard, at which point we get NPCs, at which point we go straight to Pickham, talk to Angelo, and then go through the Angelo quest and unlock him. And as soon as we unlock Angelo, because there's that one section where the gang is split apart, just like before at the Calderashi residence, where Yangus leaves and then comes back, which means we can unlock Yangus, because the gang splits up and then comes back together, we would get Jessica. So if we were to do that, we'd be able to skip all the Jessica cutscenes and unlock Jessica in that way. There are 17 minutes of Jessica cutscenes that would be added by unlocking Jessica right away, instead of unlocking her when we unlock Angelo. The downside though is you do not get the alchemy pot. Also, it would be faster in the lizard fight if we had 3 characters fighting the lizard, or even 4 characters fighting the lizard, instead of just our 2 characters. So there'd be a little bit of time save in the lizard fight, and the big time save would be that we'd have the alchemy pot. So the question is just, is the alchemy pot worth 17 minutes? Now what would I do in that 17 minutes? Grind. Lots of grinding. The absolute fastest that I would be able to grind, there's one place where I can get out of bounds with the Saber Cat and I can fight gangs of liquid metal slimes up to groups of 7. So one possibility would be to do that as soon as possible, take Hero and Angelo, and then if you're able to pull that off 3 times, you'd get about 90,000 experience, which would put Hero, I believe, at level 26 and Yangus at 25. I have to check the chart. But which would be a good level, would be able to take out the lizard, but it would take a number of turns. Level 27 is when Hero gets full heal, in which case he could take out the lizard by himself. The advantage of that, the benefits, is then Hero and Yangus would have some extra levels. We'd have to grind again for everybody else, but we'd be using those 17 minutes grinding its levels for Hero and Yangus. Which means when it comes time to kill late game bosses, they'd be another 2 levels ahead of where they'd be otherwise. The downside though is there's no alchemy pot. So the question is really, is the alchemy pot worth 2 extra levels later in the game for Hero and Yangus? That's really the main question. Now what we're doing right now is what we do in any segment, which is go over here and get crit abilities. Where we're getting crit abilities, we need more levels. So we're taking out metal slimes, which are right by the Royal Hunting Ground. Now, our best way to take out metal slimes at this point is to kill them with holy waters. We have a bunch of gold, so the cost of them is not an issue. And they always do 1 damage to a metal slime. The problem right now is there are a lot of metal slimes here, and even though they're not the strongest enemy, and we have pretty good equipment, they are much stronger than we are because we are level 6 and level 1. So you can die here, just metal slimes chewing you up. So there's no point in the game where you're actually afraid of a bunch of metal slimes and monsters. It is theoretically possible to take out 2 metal slimes like this, but you'd have to take a break for healing. And by the time you take the break for healing, they pretty much always take them, as you see what happens. I believe this was attempt number 83. I'd had a number of attempts where I'd kill slimes, and most of them though, one of my characters would die. And there was another attempt just like this where it went at basically the same speed as this one. This one is at least 15 seconds faster. So you could grind this a little bit and try to get an even faster version, or the mythical 2 kill, which would be pretty crazy. In any event, if you wanted to get Jessica and do the Alexandria quest, what you would do, you would come back here, you'd kill another metal slime. That way you'd have high enough level, and you could probably take out maybe even 2 or 3 if you do a lot of luck manipulation, because you now have crit abilities. You would then go through the Tower of Alexandria, and at this point you would get no encounters because you're high enough level. You would then do all the Jessica quests, you take out Calamari, which is a pretty easy fight at the level we're at. But again, 17 extra minutes for all that. The benefit is then you would have the alchemy pot. But the big question is, after this segment, what do you do? Do you come back here and kill those slimes right away? Then unlock Jessica? Or, if you're not getting Jessica, what you want to do next is get to the liquid metal slimes as soon as possible. In order to do that, we would need a Saber Cat, which means another boat trip to go get some zooms and to get the Saber Cat. So the other option would be to go right after this, get these levels, then go take the boat, go get the Saber Cat. What you could do also is, instead of taking this opening trip where you get your crit abilities, go straight there and get the Saber Cat right away. That would make going to this grind slightly faster, a couple seconds, because you do move faster on the Saber Cat, and you might have a chance of not having that initial encounter because your encounter rate is lower on the Saber Cat. And what happens here is we get one encounter, and then we're in the area where the metal slimes spawn. And by using a Saber Cat, you might be able to avoid that if you got lucky as far as your step count. So you just have your first encounter be metal slimes, which will save a few seconds on that grinding. So we're just going to run up here and save, and then we're going to go to the second version, which is what we just talked about, which is right away, get the boat, go to Baccarat, and then start unlocking the Saber Cat, which has advantages and disadvantages, and would also change depending whether or not you're getting a Jessica. Final time in this segment is 57. It's about 6 minutes for that segment. Here's option number 2. Second version, otherwise known as the boat trip version. Picking up from the same segment 3 as before. Now, this version goes straight to Baccarat and starts unlocking the Saber Cat. There are some cutscenes we have to do in Baccarat, and we need it to be nighttime for those cutscenes. Those cutscenes are going to advance the plot and enable us to pick up the plot from the far continent. Also, the Saber Cat is what we're going to use to get out of bounds to get some levels. Now, if you're going to go and do the Jessica quest first, that would also change how you do these segments. What you might do is do boat first. Do boat first, and then get Saber Cat. The advantage of doing that first, then you would be able to, 1, get better equipment, because there's some extra gold here and you can actually shop in Baccarat, and buy even better equipment than we have now. So you'd save some shopping. You might have noticed what happened in that first segment. We bought Yangus a leather kilt. That would leave. Instead of that, we would buy the armor at Baccarat, and so we'd save the 220 gold, or actually 110 gold, because you do get able to sell it back for half price. Be able to save that gold, because you wouldn't have to buy armor twice for Yangus. We just buy armor straight at Baccarat. Also, when we make our initial run to Alexandria to see Jessica, to at least do the bangers cutscenes, which we have to do no matter what, it'd be slightly faster to go there on a Saber Cat instead of running. Even with Dagger running, it's still slightly faster for a Saber Cat. So if you're going to do the Jessica cutscenes, one option would be to just go straight, boat, Baccarat, get the Saber Cat, use the Saber Cat to run to Alexandria. So you save a little bit of time on that. And that would just flip the order of these segments. You would have the boat first, and then you would go kill slimes so you're high enough level so you wouldn't get any encounters once you got in Alexandria doing all the Alexandria cutscenes. The second time you unlock the boat, you are much further north, and you're on the opposite side of it. Well, you're in the middle of the continent, really. So what you do right now is you head far east from that outlet, and what's going to happen, you're going to wrap around the map, and you wind up on the far west continent. Whereas the other trip took us out on the west side, just a little north of Hilltop Hut, so we just went southwest, straight over to Argonia. What we're doing now is going straight east, wrap around the map, and then we can stop at Baccarat, and then we would go and start doing the Saber Cat quest. So you get the Saber Cat right away, and you'd be able to buy better equipment. So you'd save on the gold that you would spend again, because you wouldn't have to buy armor twice for Yangus, you just buy armor once. And you'd be able to have faster movement going to Alexandria doing Alexandria stuff. And I welcome input as far as which one you guys think I should go with, and what order. The events are basically slime kill to get crit, slime kill to be high enough level to get no encounters in the Tower of Alexandria. And if you got a good enough one, you might be able to get levels such that you have no encounters when you go, if you're going after Jessica to go straight to Angelo, you might be able to get enough metal slimes in an encounter or two to get none of those encounters whatsoever. Now were you to do the Jessica quest and unlock the alchemy pot, the other advantage is all this boat trip and all the Saber Cat trip, you could be cooking alchemy at the time. So you'd get a couple free alchemies at the beginning. Things you could do, you could get a Thief's Key at that point. You can get the Scale Whip, do a Scale Shield and Jessica's Whip. You can get a better hat for Yangus. You can get a Reinforced Boomerang. All that would give you gold and better items. So if you're going to unlock Jessica, you might want to put off this trip so that you can get free alchemy time during this trip. Because as soon as you finish the Jessica cutscenes, you then have the alchemy pot. So big decision number 1, do you get Jessica or not? Advantage, alchemy pot. Disadvantage, you'd be about 2 levels shorter later on in the game, but only for Hero and Yangus. After that, it's branching as far as, well, do you get Saber Cat first and run, or do you just get your levels and then cook? So, in any event, boat trip, very similar to the first lime trip, but a minute shorter, 56 final time. Thank you for watching.